The opinions expressed by the 1.5 doctors on this podcast are for entertainment purposes only. They are not meant to treat or diagnose. If you have a serious condition, seek medical attention immediately.
No. There's been a mistake, you see.
Excuse me. What Dr. Lee is trying to say is that we need to sedate the patient or he could go into cardiac arrest.
All right, I'll get the anesthesiologist.
Hang on a second, nurse. What we should probably use is marijuana. That'll sufficiently sedate the patient for surgery.
Marijuana? But why?
We don't have time for questions. We need marijuana now, as much of it as possible. Like a big bag of it.
But doctor, we don't have marijuana in this hospital.
Dr. Stephen Ogden, Dr. Vijay Puri. Clinical Muscle starts now.
The doctors are in. This is Clinical Muscle on Advices Radio Network in affiliation with Think Big Bodybuilding Media. Doc, how you doing?
Oh, man, I guess I'm good. I feel like a newbie with this.
Yeah. My intro was super rusty. I didn't even know what to do. I was like, wait, is this what we do? I don't remember.
You had to throw in the Think Big.
Yeah.
That's a new one. I didn't hear that before. So it's like, it's been so long, bro. I was nervous last night. I was jittery. I was like, fuck, man. I said, I feel like this is the first one with first time.
Yeah.
Right? And I was like, and then of course, you know, when you haven't done it in a while, I had to dust everything off. And this morning was a piece of fucking cluster.
Yeah.
Because running around trying to piece together my computer, which hasn't been open since April 15th, apparently, when I last talked to you.
That's not too bad. I thought it was more than that.
No, I honestly thought it was like February.
Yeah.
Because I know I haven't done one in this house. This is the first one.
That's right.
This is the first. And you I don't think we're where you're at now.
That's right. I've moved 4 times since April, right? So,
shut the fuck up. Where'd you? Wait.
Just the one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was like, I totally miss that every day. I mean, we do talk every day though. We text every day, so it's not like
we keep in touch.
I think I would have figured that out.
No, just the one.
Man,
we both made the one move. Life's been crazy. Just I've only had time to do barely Bodybuilding Nerds Radio. Even then, I had to miss a few weeks here and there. You know, so it's like I can only imagine a man in your place where you've got basically 2 teenagers ready for college. So you're saving up like crazy. You know.
Yeah, it's been crazy, but honestly, to be honest, a lot of it is just because I'm being just brutally honest. I fucking been lazy and. Yeah. I had a lot of bad stuff happen this year, man, and I just honestly, I just haven't really wanted to do much. It's weird. Ever since we moved, a lot of bad things have happened, man. So when we moved into we were in that townhouse. I mean, if anyone who's going to listen to this remembers, the last thing you might have heard me talk about was my bowel obstruction. That landed me in the hospital and made me miss the Arnold.
That's right.
And then we moved in this house on Friday, Good Friday, and on Easter morning, Rascal died. My white boxer, the guys that everybody probably remembers me talking about him.
That's
it gets worse, bro. Yeah. It just gets worse. It's been like months of depression, basically.
Yeah. How could you not? I don't even. How do you cope with something like that? One after the other.
Well, no, let me just bring you all up to speed. Why I've been like just out of sorts. And then I went away on a business trip. Okay, we were in Pittsburgh. Mm-hmm. And we all went out, and it was actually fun. Have you ever seen that thing where you do axe throwing?
Yes, yeah.
Like those axe throwing events.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
I see it on Instagram all the time.
This is where it all goes downhill. Well, I was doing that axe throwing thing, and I got a little competitive there, and this dude beat me, and I said, "God damn!" And I jumped and turned and blew my MCL out.
Oh my God, you're kidding. I didn't know about the MCL, man.
Yeah, I think I mentioned it once or twice. Okay. So then I had to get that fixed. I had to rehab that up. I had to let that get better. Meanwhile, it threw my fucking back out.
Of course.
From limping for 2 months.
Yeah.
And now I'm dealing with chronic back pain. Like bad. It's better than it was. I did tell you guys about that. I went to therapy and everything.
Yep, I remember about the back pain.
Yeah, it's better than it was, but it's limiting everything, man. I right now I'm almost to where I can do. I'm talking about in the gym. Mm-hmm. I'm to where I can do. I couldn't do legs for weeks because I just couldn't even sit on my butt or push.
The blown MCL.
Yeah, and then I couldn't do it because of my back. Right.
Yeah.
So you talk about like depression, and then And then, it just spiraled downhill. And then I had to go to therapy for my back, and I'm still dealing with that, but it's way better. I'm like finally getting back to where I was in a groove. Like, but that's why. And like, every time I turn around, it was like something new.
Yeah.
And then you don't even think about doing a show. And next thing you know, you're like, holy shit, it's fucking almost Thanksgiving.
Yeah. 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 And the irony is it's actually Canadian Thanksgiving this weekend. How about that?
Oh shit! Really?
Yeah, this is it.
That's crazy. Are you got? Hold on, wait. Is this do you have pecan pie on Thanksgiving and for Canadian Thanksgiving, or is that just
no? Canadian Thanksgiving is not nearly as indulgent as the USA Thanksgiving is. Yeah, it's basically it's just like like a morsel of meat, and less food than your average supper is what it is.
So listen. Not on top of that, then finally we get our act together. Because, dude, I miss talking to you. Really, we text all the time, but hearing your voice and
it's different. It's a lot different. Yeah,
yeah, and so when we finally this week got it together and we're like, do it, sign on the dotted line. I'm all ready. So
yeah. So here we are. Many months later. This is our biannual podcast that we like to do. This is the second one this year, I think.
It's fucking football season. That's how long it's been.
I know, that's so crazy. And you know what? I thought about you on kickoff day. I was like, man, we should be talking about some football here a little bit.
And then your Lions beat my Eagles.
Yeah, I remember that. I saw that. Yeah.
I know you texted me. We were like, I was like, boo. But, so anyway, yeah. And now we don't even have the, what's funny? When I opened up my computer, the advices forum popped up, but it said there was a connection problem to the forum. So, because I think the forum's gone, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. The forum.
Yeah. I don't even think it pops up on the computer anymore.
It's gone. It's gone.
That's the first time I've looked at it. I don't even, it was already up from, I think the last time we did questions when I was looking at it, and then it disappeared. Mm-hmm. So now we're going through this Facebook group, huh?
Yeah, this seems to work pretty good. As long as if listeners, if they're even listening anymore at all, then this is a great place for everybody to kind of just gather around and ask questions if you need to,
Yeah, it was easy. It's easy to read. It's easy to find and read the questions too. Yeah. And I went through them last night.
You did? Oh wow, you prepped for this. I'm going.
Well, no. I mean, I didn't go through them like that.
Oh, okay. All right.
I just wanted to find where they were. But I mean, I scanned them.
I don't want to look too stupid. I'm very out of practice. All right, I'm pretty rusty over here.
Dude, I'm horrible. I'm going to just probably go silent several times.
I'm going to defer. I'm going to defer to a real doctor. That's what I'm going to do.
But some of these questions are for bro doctors, so you know how that rolls.
Yeah.
Are for the 2 point. Someone said 2.33 docs, so we're still above 1.5 where we started.
That's better than average, right?
Well, listen, so what's new with you? I need some updates. I mean, you're moving. Are you moving to fucking Alaska, Egypt?
Yeah. No, eventually, one day I will. That's going to take some time and some money. You know what I mean?
So I feel like your Canadian move has been 50-50 on you. Like you got some positive things, but you got some things you don't like.
Yeah, definitely. I think when you uproot yourself and you make a move. Yeah. And for us, it was like a lateral move in a lot of ways, but in a lot of ways, man, we're like the financial gain is going to be tremendous, but yeah, man, I'm a simple guy, I just like some fucking cheeseburgers. That's like my favorite thing in the world. You don't have, I'm not difficult to please, Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, you can go anywhere in the U.S. and get a goddamn cheeseburger. It's delicious. But you can't find them here, and it has to do with the Canadian beef. But yeah, that's my biggest gripe, really, honestly. Yeah.
Do you find this? I just haven't talked to you about this. Do you find like their money? What's the currency? Is it something? What's it called? Do you use dollars or what's?
Yeah. It's the Canadian dollar.
But is it still like a dollar, or is it a fucking peso or something?
No. Dollar's a dollar. It's the same system as the U.S. It's just the money looks like the money from Monopoly.
Okay. Yeah. I remembered we went to Canada once when I was a little kid, like 5. Yeah.
Oh, shit. The money's way different now, dude. It's changed way
I remember more. It was all different funny fucking colors and we had to transfer it over and shit.
See, now it's still funny fucking colors. Actually, even funnier than before.
I remember that shit.
But the texture of the texture of the money itself, like in the U.S., it's paper. You know what I mean? It's like it's an aggregated paper. It's composite.
Right.
But this paper in Canada, it's not paper. It's fucking plastic.
It's like picture paper.
Yeah, dude.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It is crazy.
Yeah,
but they do it for a good reason. You know, I mean, everything is all the money is shuttled towards the Canadian healthcare system, right? So they're going to do everything possible to make sure that their citizens are healthy enough so that they don't got to pay for jack shit. And one of those things is transferability of germs and viruses and what have you on paper via this plastic shit.
Gotcha.
You know?
Yeah.
And I don't even think it's true plastic. Whatever it is, I guarantee you it's recyclable because they love the environment up here. I'll tell you that.
Okay. Yeah, that's different. But I remember that one thing about the money.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. So it's crazy. Like, since I talked, fucking Stevie's a high school football player now.
Yeah. What the hell?
Playing football at high school.
And your daughter, this is senior now, right?
Yeah. Do you remember? This. I don't even know when we started the show, but it's been a while now. I'm talking.
Stevie was a toddler, I think.
Okay, I think so. And do you remember the first time? Dude, when we were doing this, it feels like yesterday that I told you Haley was trying out for lacrosse and never played before.
Yeah.
That was freshman year.
Yeah. Oh my God, you're right.
She's a fucking senior.
That was fast. Like that was
was that
abnormally
crazy?
fast.
I mean, this is why. Like
that was only 12 podcasts ago. What happened?
Yeah, it was like fucking. We did 2 a year. It was 8. We do 2 a year.
Oh, that's right.
But yeah, and then Stevie was playing Little League football, and now he's fucking. So man, life flies by, and that's why doing this show. And it's like, yeah, we'll get to it. We're gonna get one out. And then now it's April, May, June, July, August, September. 6 months.
Yeah. It doesn't seem like it seems like longer.
That's what I'm saying. I think it's because we're fucking old.
Yeah, I know it's because we're fucking old. I don't have to guess about it.
Flies by.
Yeah.
I even got a mini B&R basement gym going.
Hell yeah! I saw your setup, man. It's gonna be you're gonna keep adding to it. I
did. I added a lat pool this week.
Of course you did. You don't stop because once you have like a setup that you like, you just keep adding more and more little things. You know.
I actually, I'm still going to the gym, but I do like the option
convenience.
I like the option of going down and banging one out real quick if I can. Yeah, and it's actually nice. I obviously I got to get the dumbbells. We got the dumbbells up to 55 right now because
there's a lot you can do with that though,
dude. But I got to of course when you got the barbell stuff and the rack and the pull down and everything, but I got a sweet deal on that. I mean, I'm like, I was doing the math. I wasn't going to do it because I was thinking I need heavier. I'm like, well, I might as well just get them. Somebody was selling the rack and everything from, I think they're 10s in 5 pound increments, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 30. And for Christine and the kids, that's a lot of weights.
Well, fuck, that's pretty good weight for us too.
Yeah, so they don't even go. I mean, nobody's in my house except for me is going above 55 pounds on anything right now. Not even Stevie, although Stevie's getting pretty fucking strong already because I've been keeping him on a pretty consistent regimen.
Yeah. Well, how old is he? Like,
he's 14.
Oh shit, he's gonna get a lot stronger yet.
No, dude. He's got I remember last year he was fucking around. I was trying to get him. We talked about it. I was trying to get him to lift a little bit, and he couldn't even bench the bar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now he's got the big wheels on there, repping 135
wow.
out. And it went out pretty quick.
At 14.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
I think it doesn't sound like a lot compared to what's his name's kid.
Well, he's a 14-year-old kid. They're kids,
Yeah,
they're
he's going slow, but it's went up a lot, just really quick on the bench. And I think the other night he tried. I forget how much he deadlifted. It was in the 200s, but it went up quick for a kid who he's been doing pretty good at it now since we got the football season and the basement gym. I got him in there just doing like upper body, basically push-pull legs. It's kind of what we're doing.
Hey, let me ask you: does the gym
very limited exercises?
Does their school have a good gym?
It does, and
I bet they do.
It'll be what they did is they had a weightlifting. They do like an off season lift. Yeah. So that start, and then once football starts, they don't really have it because they're busy doing meetings and practice, and so but the off-season lift starts in January and they go till June.
That's not bad. That's
And
pretty
then their
good.
summer session starts in July. That's how but they got a nice weight. Actually, they just remodeled it this year. It's nicer than it was even since he started.
I bet.
Yeah.
Some of those high school gyms, man, are some of the best gyms around. That's unbelievable.
I know. Some of them are fucking crazy.
Yeah, yeah. That's a gripe I've got about living in Canada, man. There's not a lot of really good gyms. Like, there's a lot of good mom and pop gyms all over in the U.S. everywhere.
Excuse my ice rattle, folks.
Yeah. What do you got? It's 7:30 in the morning, and you've got Diet Coke, right?
I got that. Well, that was just a little bit of BCAAs. I know you hate them, but I still, I like my ones that I drink. The ones I've drank, and I know they don't do shit for me, or maybe not. But I like the flavor, and I've been buying them for 10 years.
Yeah. Well, sometimes you gotta stick to what works for you.
Oh God, nothing's working these days. But anyway.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of that, man, how is the rest of training going? I know you said you're getting the convenience of having your own gym. Believe me, I understand, and I miss it.
Well, like I said, honestly, it was sucked. I mean, for the last 3 or 4 months, but finally my back's better.
Yeah.
I can tell. My therapist even told me, bro, you're fucked up. This is unless you go see a surgeon or get injections, you're probably going to have, some chronic achiness and stuff. But right now it's finally to the point where, like, I'm an old man, so fuck it, I always have some kind of ache or pain. So it's to the point where, like, I'm finally getting back to doing things everything. I'm even doing leg, but I'm being real careful on the leg presses and stuff like that. Sure. And so you know what motivated me about I got to do it. You guys on BNR a couple shows ago, maybe 3, 4, 2, I'm not sure. You talked about, remember the guy wrote in about his legs, and then you just got to, he had a back problem and he didn't want to do anything. And you're like, you just got to do it. And you told him about the air squats you had him do.
Yeah, that's right. I remember that. Yeah.
So I started doing it. Yeah, I was like, I got to get back to doing it, whether it hurts or not. Mm-hmm. So I started doing all like pre-exhaust stuff.
Yeah, that's it. You're smart. Very good move.
And what's funny? I know they're not a great mass builder, but I don't really need. I got pretty decent legs genetically. I think. I mean, obviously not like huge, but for me, leg extensions, high rep, have always given me like a crazy pump. I don't know why. I connect well with them. I can squeeze the fuck out of them.
Yeah.
And if I do them, multiple sets till they're fucking fried. Mm-hmm. My legs, and then the rest of the exercise, my legs are good. So I do a lot of girly stuff.
Jose Raymond's the same way with the extensions. He loves the extension. He always starts off with extensions.
I like to get them to where the blood's in there, and when I stand up, it's like, okay, I almost could finish right now. Like now it's time. Now I can go. You know what I mean? Mm. So I started doing that again, and so now everything's going pretty good. I gotta be careful. I'm not fucking pulling deadlifts ever again off a floor, and I won't do fucking heavy squats. But everything else I can do now. But
that's good. I mean, considering you blew out your fucking MCL, you can do a lot with a blown out MCL versus a blown out ACL. You know what I mean?
No, I mean, I just couldn't. The thing was, it felt very unstable. So I had to be careful of like the motion that I did, and it was all. I don't know if you remember this, but I always talked about I had that knee. Remember I told you that knee would lock him. Remember I told you I jumped in bed and my knee fucking locked.
Yes.
And I had to pull it and snap it out. Well, that's the knee that finally. That's the one. That's the one that finally went.
So it was just due course, right? It was going to happen eventually.
Yeah. Exactly, but the way it happened was just funny as shit. Like, I did it throwing an axe.
Yeah,
like,
it's never in the gym squatting 300 or something. It's always
thank God.
I was in the garage and I slipped on some oil.
Yeah,
I slipped on a banana peel playing Mario Kart.
Palumbo, didn't he step down a step or something? He blew his patellar tendon or his quad.
Yeah, he was walking down the steps.
Dave Pulcinella, a couple years ago when he did his first leg, he did it. He just stood up out of a chair at his office, and the fucking thing popped out, just fucking ruptured his whole shit.
That's crazy.
I remember him telling me that. But although, so I'm all good now. Though yesterday I told Chrissy, I said I finally feel like almost back to normal. I even was able to do like, dude, I couldn't even do cardio. You can't. It's hard to walk on a treadmill and limp with a stiff knee, with a straight leg, with a brace.
Oh, I know. Yeah. Jeez, poor bastard.
I know.
You've had a rough go of it, Doc.
Well, that's why the show's kind of was delayed.
Yeah, I understand.
I wasn't really happy to fucking talk about all my fucking shit.
Yeah, when you're not in a good place mentally, I mean, you can't even give good advice to anybody else. Even then, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So it's like
everything they ask, I'll be like, "Fuck you, read it."
Yeah. Yeah, it just gives you a bad attitude altogether too. You know what I mean? So it's better that you come out of it now, and now you're doing the show again, at least for this part of the year, and then we'll do it again in 6 months. You know?
Well, I figure we'll do it at Thanksgiving, New Year's,
Mm-hmm. Ooh,
and then maybe. No, just kidding. We'll be back at it now. We just had to get on our streak.
Yeah.
And Sunday mornings are always the good one because football's on. So we kick our day off with the show.
Yeah, we get up and we have a conversation. We answer some questions and make a bunch of stuff up, and then we get to sometimes I'll go to the gym right after this too, Doc, on Sundays, and then by the time I get home, it's kickoff time. Fucking ready.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to do.
Of course.
But now I have the dilemma of whether I go right in that back room that I'm staring at right now, or if I go to the gym.
Yeah. That's a dilemma.
I went to the gym this week. 3 out of the 4 times I think I worked out, and because like I came down and I was like, I was like, you know what, you got to go, because sometimes this is what I've always struggled with home gyms. I hate to say it, the motivation. Like it's like I'll go down an hour, I'll go down 2 hours, I'll go down 3 hours. Like then you're like, fuck.
Yeah, I understand. But back when I had my B&R basement gym, it was like I developed the same kind of pattern. So eventually I was like, fuck, I just got to wake up and go train. Otherwise, I'll just end up delaying it until like 6 p.m. And then by 6 p.m., I'm like, it's relax time, you know?
It's time to eat a burger.
Yeah, it's cheeseburger time. It should be a Culver's, not a fucking gym.
It's great for convenience. And really, I did it for the family, the kids. Yeah, so, that, having them weights down there, Stevie hits them,
they'll get a lot. Oh, man, they'll get so much out of that.
Yeah, well, Christine loves it. She's been doing everything down there.
Yeah.
And, we put a TV back there. I stream Think Big.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, it's a nice setup down there, man. It's great. I like it a lot.
I was looking at leg equipment, and because I got a spot where I want to put a leg machine, and so I was pricing out leg presses, and then that came quickly out of my mind. I was like, holy shit. Then it dawned on me how expensive it would be just to get the equipment to own a gym. Because the fucking leg presses were like $3,000.
Yeah. Yeah. And you got to get a commercial one. Otherwise, that fucking thing, it'll kill you. Otherwise,
it'll collapse.
Yeah, it will. It's a rattling piece of shit, and it'll just collapse on you.
Yeah. So then I was like, let me rethink that. Yeah. So I think I saw and it was a commercial one too, and it wasn't too bad. I forget the price, but it wasn't too bad. I saw a leg extension, hamstring curl. It was you could do it for both standing leg it was adjustable. You could flip it to do a hamstring or
standing
a leg extension.
or wow, okay, that's great.
I'm pretty sure it was a standing because it said extension / hamstring curl.
I'd rather do a standing curl anyways. That's a great option.
Yeah, so I was looking at one of them. I was just Googling stuff. So I want to get something like that back there. Just to add, and then so I got the lat pull down this week, and it's got a high. When you have a cable, you can do a lot. Now you can do tricep pull downs, you can do biceps, you can do lat pulls.
Hell yeah, you can do so much stuff with cables.
So that just made it even more like usable for me.
Yeah, for sure. You know what you need, Doc? You know what you need, and it'll be a really cheap addition to your gym. I don't know. You may not have it already, but just a fucking like a Roman chair, like one of those hyperextension. For the angled ones, though, the ones that are kind of like at like a 45-degree angle, and they've got the pad there for your quadriceps, and then
I know what you mean.
Yeah, and like a heel pad. Yeah, that's what you need for your back and for your knee, your medial collateral ligament that's busted up. You strengthen up that inner. What is it? Semi-membranosis? Tendinosis.
Oh, shit.
Semi-tendinosis.
You're going to make me break out the anatomy book.
I don't know. It's been fucking decades. But
just Google it.
Those hamstring muscles that insert right where that medial collateral ligament kind of is, that's perfect, not just for your back and your ass, but also for that knee. And it's a cheap addition, man. You can get like a good commercial one for like, I don't know, like like $100 maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a good idea because I definitely could use that. That's one thing I've been my lower back. I've been doing a lot more like just core stuff. I still, to this day, I still have never used bands for anything. And I know you guys band like squats to take load off your lower back. So I was thinking about getting some bands and having them back there and trying that.
Yeah, that's helpful.
I look at it and I go to myself, how do I set that up? Well, I guess I could Google it or YouTube it.
Oh yeah. Just Google Meadows. He knows how to do everything with bands.
I know. Yeah. he's the band man.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, he can MacGyver anything with some bands.
Yeah, I'm like, well, fuck. I was thinking, but yeah, it's going good now. Finally,
yeah, good. Very good, Doc. Let's. What do you say we answer some questions here? I know this is probably not going to be a super long show, but we can knock out some questions. What do you say?
No, I think it's good. I mean, knocking them out, doing a show is better than hearing your voice is better than not doing one, I guess. So we'll just keep it. We'll keep it that. Dude, well, I remember we get so many sometimes if we wait too long. I'm glad Scott opened this up recently and we got it out because I don't want it to get too long. Yeah. And then we'll be looking like, what the fuck? Now let's go. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
I'm gonna open up Google just so I can answer all these questions.
Yeah. That's a perfect way of answering. Yeah, just put your mute on so no one hears you typing. You know.
That's right. I don't even know how to mute. That's one thing. I hope we don't fuck up because I don't know how to mute this mic.
Well, okay. So what you can do if you got any questions for the 1.5 docs over here for Clinical Muscle Radio. You know, we're gonna pretty much do shows as questions kind of come in, right? I mean, otherwise we're just having a conversation and recording it, which is cool too. Well, you know,
I mean, there's a lot of podcasts out there, just conversations.
Yeah,
and people listen to them, and it's crazy. So. Yeah.
So you can get to
questions, we'll get answers.
Yeah, Advices Radio Facebook group. It's a closed group, so I think you got to be invited or you have to ask to join or whatever. But once you're in there, you know, you can post away any questions you want, and it's a private group, like I said, so you don't got to worry about anybody else seeing your questions or worrying about it. This is probably got to be one of the most friendliest bodybuilding related Facebook groups on the internet. It has to be. Yeah, you know what I mean?
You're not going to get any assholes on here. At least I don't think we will. I don't think we would keep the assholes around, you know.
Well, I think assholes attract other assholes. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly.
So it's like I'm an asshole, but like in a completely different night, like a nice way. You know?
Yeah. You're a nice asshole, but you're an asshole nonetheless.
Yeah, sure. So I'm attracting a lot of the other nice assholes, and they're asking their questions nicely, you know, non-assholey. So it's good. Let's get to the. What do we say? We get to the thread here.
Yeah, I'm pulling it up now, and I was thinking, even though it's a private group, maybe we just don't say the names until
exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, because then we'd unprivate everything.
Right.
Basically,
defeat the purpose for the 12 people listening.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna find out. You know, the thing is, here's the thing with our show now. We're going to be at least the bottom we're going to be, I don't know how many shows are on Advices now. And Think Big, we're definitely the last one.
That's definitely. Yeah.
Scott has added people on here to make my 2 cents really meaningless, but we're going to do it anyway.
We're going to do it because we went to school to be doctors, goddammit, and we're going to have a podcast about it. That's
and one of us is a 1.5 doc, and the other one doesn't want to be a doctor anymore.
God damn it. All right. Let's use some of our edumacation here, Doc.
Yes.
See if we can answer some of these questions here. All right. So there's a thread open right now. Clinical Muscle question thread. You guys can post away, or you can start a new one. Scott will usually start a new one. He's the admin there. So, but you can use this one for basically forever, I think, you know. So get on the Advices Radio group and post away. Here's the first question, Doc. Assuming diet and nutrition are on point, what are your favorite fat loss compounds / supplements to use? Good question.
Well, I'm going to, in case there's anyone who's never listened to the show before who happens to click on this and then be really disappointed.
Yeah. Or super offended.
Or super offended, yeah, because we don't give a crap. Yeah. But one thing is, I'm going to say this just so people don't think it's, you know, I don't want anyone to take this the wrong way, but I am a real doctor. Mm-hmm. I don't call myself doctor. I have a job. I am a physician. So even though I have the mouth of a trucker, I am a board certified doctor. I am legit. I'm real. So some of the things that get asked, I might have to punt to Vijay if they're kind of like, you know, not very like things that I have to be careful of. So the reason why I'm saying that with this one is because what I can say about the fat loss compounds is these are things that I know work. I'm not particularly that I used them before or I agree with them or, you know, I always say, You got to make sure you're healthy before you do anything. So anyway, that's my caveat. And that's going to be my caveat all the time, because if we get any new listeners, I don't want them to think we're fake doctor. I am a real doctor. So when I punt a question, it's probably because I don't want to get in trouble, or and sometimes I go out on the limb anyway, and I'll just answer shit. But
you never know what the doc's going to say. That's why people listen.
Yeah, exactly. But so anyway. So first of all, my wife, I was going through these questions last night, and I wasn't reading them, but I read this first one out loud. And Christine, this is to quote my wife. She said, "Lettuce and cardio, more lettuce." More cardio. That's the girl method. Eat lettuce and get on the treadmill. Basically, eat less. So anyway, no. So one of the, for me, I've always used most of the time over the counter fat burners. So, and what's in them are always your basics: caffeine, L-carnitine, yohimbine HCl, and so I mean, for me, they were always been the things that I go to, and I know they work, and they're generally safe. I mean, I haven't heard too many people having problems with, dying from a caffeine or Diet Coke or things like that. But if we're talking about, higher sort of level stuff, I mean, then you're talking about, your ephedrine and, your ECA stack, which we know, they're a little more risky. You got to make sure your heart's okay. But that would be one, if I were to use it, I would say would be one of my, on the top of my list. Aside, and again, I'm not recommending anything, but that would be something I would use.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, I am also a doctor, but not the kind that's any good. Okay. I was a doctor of chiropractic for many years, and I did a lot of sports medicine stuff, but I am retired. And so, I'm gonna take on a lot of the illegal type questions. Okay,
that's what I was saying. The things I have to punt make you probably illegal. I should have summed it up like that.
So on this side of things, I will say, assuming diet and nutrition are on point, that's good. I'm a fan of making sure that your thyroid output is on point too. So, I mean, if you're on a fat loss diet and nothing's happening, usually one of the first things I'll say is go get blood work. Find out what your thyroid hormone's doing. Find out what all your hormones are doing. Mm-hmm. Reason why I say that is because most people are walking around have low thyroid output just from shitty living, and that's just the way it is. A lot of that can be corrected with proper supplementation and diet, but assuming all that is correct, supplementation as far as like L-tyrosine or thyroid support stuff, there's a lot of great thyroid support stuff out there. But if your thyroid ain't working good, forget about fat loss. Not going to happen. So I'm a fan of supplementing because I myself am hypothyroid, and so I get prescribed T3, T4 compounds, like a mix of them, and I like to make sure that your thyroid is working properly. So I'm a fan of T3, T4 combo for fat loss, for anything, just for anything. But that's my first, like, I look at that as my first point of fat loss. Is your thyroid working well? Okay, from there we can go on to other things, other compounds. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would agree with that one too. And I mean, if your thyroid's low, and you definitely need to supplement it. Mm-hmm. And in the bodybuilding world, let's be for real. That T3 is a great way to help burn some fat. Although you got to be careful with it because it burns everything. Yeah, you don't want to be working up to 200 micrograms you're just eating muscle away, looking leaner, but really you're just eating everything away. But again, like I said, that's one of those ones where I got to say, if your doctor prescribed it for you, that would be a really good way to help burn some fat.
Yeah. That's like ground zero. You know what I mean? It all starts there, I think.
And then the last one, I would say, not recommending or anything, but your stimulants, beta agonists, things like clenbuterol work really, really well at burning fat. Mm-hmm. They also have serious side effects, palpitations, things like that. They can make your heart rate go high. People can get dizzy. So if I had to put it on a list, I would say Clen is a good one too. You just have to make sure it's legal in your country.
Sure. Yeah. And then we're not trying to diagnose or treat. All right, where these are just suggestions made from two guys from the internet.
Yeah, exactly. But no, that would be the list. I would say if I had to go from highest to lowest, I would, sort of ground zero. Like if diet and nutrition for me, it would be caffeine based. Caffeine.
Yeah. You can't go wrong with, I mean, caffeine and a little bit of stimulant, like a caffeine and ephedrine, even like a low dose ephedrine or ephedra.
That's your you love
I fucking
that
love it,
combo.
man. I love it. It's my favorite. It's my favorite pre-workout combo, and it has been for decades now. And in this wonderful land of Canada, it is completely legal to sell ephedrine, so it's no big deal.
You don't have to. Well,
yeah.
So you don't need to show your license for
Hell
it.
No. I'll go to any supplement store and buy a fucking pallet of it. No big deal.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, what am I talking about? Like you didn't live here for 100 years.
Yeah.
You know, you got to go in the pharmacy and get like Primatene tabs. If you have a cold or a cough, you have to get the Primatene tabs or or the things like that. But you have to show your license now.
Yeah. Makes sense. Because of the meth,
Yeah, because people were coming in buying truckloads of it and then going to their meth brewery. I guess that's what happened, but it's still technically legal here. You just have to get it from the farm. It's behind the counter, not over the counter.
Sure.
But you can't get it. You can't walk in a vitamin shop like you used to and buy it with in the Rip Fuel.
Right. Oh man, those were good times.
God, they were the best. So
I loved Rip Fuel. It was my favorite.
So. That would be my fat burn. And again, all joking aside, I mean, it's really calories. If you're eating too much, none of that shit's going to work. I mean, you gotta do the cardio. You gotta have your diet on point. And when you get into higher level stuff like the Clan and the T3 and all that stuff, you just make sure you're healthy. Don't overdo it. Listen to your body. If you're getting palpitations when you take your Clen and you feel like your heart's skipping beats, you probably should fucking stop it.
Yeah.
You're getting terrible cramps and things like that. So that would be the fat burning list. Let me ask you this. I mentioned L-carnitine, and we know that I always took L-carnitine orally, right? And I know that it doesn't supposedly work that good, but I always did it when I was trying to lose weight. I like the Ohimbine, I like the L-carnitine, I do all that. I just throw it in there. If it works a little bit, so I know. I think you talked about this on BNR.
Probably, yes, I think we did.
You know where I'm going, right?
I think so.
Okay, so you did a trial of injectable L-carnitine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Are you done that? How'd it go? Did you notice anything? Or do you think maybe, it wasn't great?
You know what? I don't know, man. Okay. So I'm like you, man. I in my natty days, and those were many, by the way, I didn't start, TRT until my 30s.
Well, you didn't when you didn't have a natural testosterone of fucking 1,500 at 18 or whatever.
Exactly.
Right.
I had it made. So, I would use a lot of oral L-carnitine, and it always seemed to work pretty good for me. Problem is, I had to get around 4 grams ish a day, 3 to 4 grams, and then it would start to work. The deal with injectable carnitine is that you can take 200 milligrams and be saturated.
Yeah.
So that's the difference between what you're losing supplement wise and the difference between direct injection. And you metabolize like 98% of that 200 milligrams. So it all gets used, from what I understand anyways. Now, I tried it. And granted, I was going through like a fucking withdrawal symptoms from not having my proper meds, So my body was going into post-cycle therapy on its own, essentially, what was going on. So I was getting all these weird side effects anyways. And I tried the L-carnitine while doing this, and it seemed to exacerbate a lot of my symptoms, man. I don't know why. I don't have any proof as to why it is. I can just tell you my personal experience from it, and that's just what happened to me. I don't know what it is. I can't even explain it, man, because I thought, fuck, this is some fucking hormone shit in here, I bet there's got to be some peptides in here or something, or something is really fucking me up and exacerbating some of these side effects, like the nipple soreness, the gynotype symptoms and the bloating. I was like, whoa, something is wrong. I've felt these symptoms before, and it was always from something that was like heavy androgen, So I was just like, you know what? I don't know. This is just clearly it's not for me. I just I don't know what it is. But and here's the thing with the Synthetech stuff. I can't even slam the product because there's doctors and hospitals that'll use injectable carnitine from Synthetech, the company.
No. I was going to say you know that you used a good one, so it's not like Yeah, it's not like that, wasn't it? So
it wasn't tainted product, or wasn't injectable
been,
super drawl or something,
right. I think they've been around a long time.
Yeah.
I bet they've been tested more. I bet they'd be caught by now. But
yeah,
you've always been a bit of an enigma with things. So it's hard to tell. But I mean, so I guess what I'm getting to with the L-carnitine is I personally always did the oral, but injectable, is probably for most people going to be a better route if you do it right. I mean, if you for weight loss anyway, you got to take so much. Now I've always just added it in there because it is what it is, But I wanted to hear if I haven't heard a follow up on that
because I tried it twice. I was just like, I gave it a second chance too,
and you're like, fuck it,
and I was like, nah, it's not for me. I can't explain why, and it doesn't really matter. It just I know it's not for me. That's all.
And you tried it though. That's all that matters. That's why I was thinking.
But so I will go back to oral. I like the oral. You know what I was thinking? I was thinking because L-carnitine has a really strong ability to stimulate the androgen receptor and to just desensitize the androgen receptor, So maybe that had something to do with it. It was sensitizing the androgen receptor, and all the estrogens and my testosterone that was waning at the time must have been going crazy,
Or you're just a freak.
I don't know. Well, something weird. I don't know. I can't even really explain it. Yeah. So, but shit, I don't know, man.
Anything else on that one?
From what I understand, L-carnitine and a little bit of insulin goes a long way with fat loss. Not that I'm recommending it to anybody.
Obviously not.
And I think it's on your lowest rung of the totem pole as far as fat loss supplements go. Plus stuff that you can look. There's so many more other things you can do first. You know what I mean? To lose some body fat. That'll probably get you there way faster anyways than adding in some injectable carnitine. That's kind of an experiment,
Right, exactly. I mean, and if you've done everything and you just want to get another %, it might be something to think about. But I knew that you did a little experiment. And I forgot what the results were, if I even heard the results. That's
no results. Results was fucking flared up nipples, and that's about it.
Yeah. Fucking flared up nipples. Oh, man.
Hey guys, why are you using sports nutrition that was designed for someone else? At TrueNutrition.com, they offer the world's largest selection of quality protein powders, and they let you design your own custom blend from a variety of powders, flavors, boosts, and packaging options, like the Team Skip blend, for instance. That's over 20 billion possible combinations to create a protein powder tailored to your diet, your goals, your tastes, and your budget. TrueNutrition.com also offers the ability to create delicious custom oatmeal blends. And they're third-party tested, proving that all their supplements are ensured to have the highest level of quality and value. Don't be a sucker and pay for fancy packaging and gimmicks. Discover the source that bodybuilders trust and stop using mass-produced nutrition that wasn't designed for you. TrueNutrition.com. And use our code ADVICES at checkout to let them know that you support the shows. Hey guys, Scott McNally here.
And this is Vijay Puri.
You guys know us from here at the Advices Radio Network. Well, we also have another show, Bodybuilding Nerds Radio. We've got everything from supplement reviews
to shout-outs,
listener questions,
and of course, our weekly bodybuilding podcast reviews.
So check us out every Friday.
Or whenever you feel like cooking or doing your cardio or basically wasting time with us.
You can hear us at bodybuildingnerds.com.
Also on iTunes. Bodybuilding Nerds, it's time to get nerdy.
All right, let's hit this next question here, Doc, from the Advices Radio group. What OTC supplements do the 2.333333 docs recommend while on TRT only, 200 milligrams per week? What OTC supplements?
Well, I don't know if being on TRT really makes you have to be on, OTC supplements. I mean, TRT is just replacing your low normal testosterone. Not saying you shouldn't be on health supplements, but I mean, I don't think that's a particular I'm on TRT. I better take something. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because really, you're just giving yourself back what it's kind of like you're filling your tank that was empty. It's not like you're going overboard when you when you ramp it up or
where there's a cause for some like liver health supplementation or kidney health supplementation.
Really, if you're on just 200 milligrams and you do really have real low testosterone, your body should be pretty normal with health if you're healthy. I mean, so anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there because the way he said it to me, it implies, well, I'm on TRT, I'm hurting myself. And you really, at least that's my opinion.
True. I agree 1,000%. Yeah, you shouldn't have to add
right. And the second thing is, I said this multiple times on all the shows, is I am not a huge supplement guy. I mean, I've seen some lists, some of the guys on the internet, and I'm like, first of all, I couldn't remember to take that every day. I mean, everything that pops up on the internet, if there's a new supplement, that guy's taking it. And I'm like, okay. So basically, my list is going to be really, really short. Okay. I always start with omega-3s. I always
Boom. That was my number one, by the way.
I mean, fish oil, omega-3s, krill, however you want to do it, to me is something that everybody should be taking unless you're eating salmon 4 times a week or whatever.
Yeah, right. And it's got to be fucking troll caught salmon too. It can't be just farm raised.
And I get my shit, and I don't think I even find much of that around here. So, so I always do fish oil, and there's some new stuff coming out. Does it help? Maybe it doesn't. But you know what? I'm 47 years old. I've been taking it for years. And I've always had good triglycerides. I've always had good HDL. My lipids have always looked pretty good. I mean, I'm not saying that's from fish oil, but I'm saying it's been in there and it's, my stuff's been pretty decent. So, I mean, I'm not going to stop that because some article comes out that tells me to stop it, whatever. So fish oil, I always say 2 to 4 grams. You could go lower, you could go higher, you take a pill a day, whatever you want. That's my thing. I've always, and this is now really a debatable one. And again, and I think I said this before, and I'm not recommending this. You asked me what I take or what I think. I've always, and like I said, this isn't just because you're on TLT. This is just in general. I've always taken niacin. Okay. And when I was in med school, I can't believe it's been 15 years ago already.
Jeez.
So when I was in med school, niacin was one of the things that we were really getting pushed for cholesterol and heart health, for HDL, right? So I started taking it that many years ago. And I remember having of course I was out of shape and a little fatter. So that I'm sure that probably had something to do with it. I remember having my HDL in the 20s, And then when I remember hearing about this niacin, and I started taking it, and I started exercising, was lifting and stuff, but nothing crazy back then because I was in med school. Long story short is I remember my blood work, my fucking HDL went to 52. I can remember that exact number, and I was like, "Whoa, that shit works." That's really all I did. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fast forward to 2019, and now they're saying niacin really doesn't reduce the risk of heart, deaths and things like that. But it definitely does raise HDL, and I'm still going to take it.
Yeah.
Because I've seen that shit do that to
me.
I
think, you found something that worked for you, and that's,
never impacted my LFTs that I know. It never impacted my blood sugar that I know of because we know it can do those things, but that's at really high doses just from, my understanding. So that's my second thing. My third thing is I think everyone should be, okay, maybe not everyone, but most people should be on vitamin D.
Yeah. You're taking all my fucking supplements. Yeah,
well, sure. that's because we don't go out and buy fucking shark oil and fucking snake grass oil and the fucking the whisper pill and all that shit that's popping up. We stick with the stuff that's been keeping people healthy for years. So I'm going to go with those 3, and I have a couple more, but I'm going to let you go ahead.
All right.
I don't take the list up.
Yeah, vitamin D3. I would say that vitamin D3 and vitamin K together, I think are excellent just for overall bone health, bone care, joint health, fucking almost everything else in the body. Even as far as your blood work goes, I think vitamin K and D3 do a ton. D is actually a hormone, so it's a great one for you.
Especially for the natty guys. I mean, it does help.
A good solid micronutrient product, okay, like a good Beverly Super Pack or one of the more updated animal packs or something, like a good multivitamin, multi-mineral, not these underdose Centrum bullshit things. A good cold processed, micronutrient dense thing. That's one of the best things anyone can take, whether you're on TRT or off TRT. Let me tell you, if you don't have a lot of these cofactors coming into your diet, then forget about a lot of fat loss. Forget about even taking advantage of your testosterone to estrogen ratio. Forget about it, and forget about filtering out some of the excess hormone from your liver and stuff, man. It's not going to happen if you don't have all your proper micronutrients and cofactors.
Yep.
So that's the only thing I can add. That's because
I'll throw out now. So that was my core. Now the other ones that I think are good, but I'm not going to say I necessarily take them, and I'm not going to say you need these because you're on TRT. I mean, I always have used a liver support, throughout my time, whatever, whether it's helping or not, a Live 5-2, whatever, a liver essentials, whatever. Because I've always been paranoid about liver. I don't know why. And I'm always paranoid about kidneys too. But that's just me watching my blood pressure, the kidney thing. And then the last two that I think I like, but I'm not necessarily taking them now or take them all the time, are curcumin and coenzyme Q10 or ubiquinol. I mean, those things I think are probably proven to be pretty beneficial. But like I said, I don't want to go spend $500. I made it 47 years without, and when I have done trials on myself where I've taken 50, and you probably can listen back to the shows. There's been a time where I tried a Tudka experiment. You remember that? That was fucking years ago when I didn't know. Anyway, when there's been times where I've taken every new supplement that's come out, I didn't notice any difference in my life. My blood work didn't change for the most part. I mean, I'm not dead yet. Thank God. So I've always stuck to the basics. So that's my basics.
Yeah. I can't really add anything, man. It's all good stuff.
It's hard enough to remember to take medicines if you're on medicines, let alone 17, 20 other pills every day. Oh, one more thing, like a good gut health supplement too. Maybe like a probiotic.
Yeah. A good solid probiotic is always.
I mean, that's just this solid. Again. This isn't because you're on testosterone. It's just in general, just health. So that's definitely my list. I don't really, unless I'm forgetting something. That would be the things that if I were to be religious about taking, they would be the ones I take. But I definitely always take, and I'll go up to right now, and I take fish oil, niacin, vitamin D, and I probably should be taking a good multivitamin like you recommend, but I can't say I do.
Yeah, I mean, unless you're pounding like green veggies all day,
right. Well, I used to.
I know you used to, but you can't do that shit no more.
Till my guts fucking just backed up on me, and I almost exploded.
Doc, you gotta get like a fucking Beverly Super Pack or something.
Do you know doctors and healthcare workers are the worst fucking patients, right?
I know.
we get our blood work done the least. We never schedule our colonoscopies on time. We try to self-treat everything to probably at fault. And actually, that's my life right there. That's me. I'm putting that out there right now, like we're in church.
Speaking of TRT, Doc, I'm getting I can't go back to my old doc because they don't accept cash patients, believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah. So I've gone through my fucking withdrawal periods, and my hormones are still fucking kind of a mess. Still correcting stuff on my own without blood work. But I've got a new TRT doc I'm going to be seeing here on Monday, not this Monday, but the following Monday. So I got to put up with some more side effects for a little while longer, but
man.
But
you had a good one too.
I know. But this guy is Dr. Militek. He actually in Bloomfield, Michigan, Bloomfield area in Michigan. Yeah, it's but he's got an office up here in Canada too, Sarnia office. He treats Canadian patients too. So how about that?
I wonder how the hell does that work with his license? He must have can American doctors go to Canada and practice?
I think you need a Canadian license in addition,
Wow. Okay. I never thought about that.
Yeah. So.
Well, that's good. At least you got that set up. But I know. I thought. When you moved, I was wondering how that was going to work out for you.
Yeah. Well, it would have worked out just fine. It's just that he no longer accepts cash patients for whatever reason. It's insurance only. It has everything to do with fucking insurance companies and increased money for blood work.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Of course.
Billing is. You become a slave to the billing system,
absolutely, which is why I don't do family medicine no more.
Yeah, fuck that. But yeah, I'm excited about that. I'll let you know how it goes. Hopefully I can not develop any more gyno. It'll be good. General recommendations
you're squirting milk all over the house.
Yeah, man. I'm one of those people. Believe it or not, I don't get like estrogen type related. I mean, estrogen's always related to gyno in some way, shape, or form. It's got to be elevated to a certain degree. But what really drives my shit crazy is IGF-1, I think.
Oh yeah,
because it's not hyperprolactinemia. I can tell you that much from my blood work, even with growth hormone at 10 IUs a week. But I can tell you my IGF-1 really, it must go fucking crazy high, and I've seen it spike and wane. But I think like there's a lot of like research out there showing IGF-1 increasing gynecomastia type issues.
Right. Yeah, that's crazy.
It'll grow any cells, but any cell sensitive, it'll grow, But anyways, general recommendations for dialing in CPAP pressure. Doc, do you have any experience with CPAP stuff?
Honestly, I mean, I was a lot better at it when I was younger because do you remember my previous life? I was a respiratory therapist, so that's all I did.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
All right.
But I was looking at his question. And it sounds like, honestly, I don't know he gave us the name of a product. I'm not sure. Go to sleep ring that tracks. So anyway, I think it tracks apnea hypopnea index, SpO2 levels, sleep stages, movements. He said he's messed with it from 7.4 millimeters of mercury to 7.8, and it's caused his apnea hypopnea to vary between levels of 10 and 20, which probably still says that his sleep apnea is basically what he's saying is that's telling him that his sleep apnea is not controlled. So here's what I would say. If I would, first of all, I guess maybe he bought one online and he's trying to do it himself. So I would say this, if you haven't had because this is just what I have to tell you, you probably should have if you haven't, you should probably have a real sleep study done, and they'll give you the sleep physician will get you titrated perfectly. And unless you gain a lot of weight or lose a lot of weight or your seal's getting bad, and that's the other thing, whether you're using nasal pillows or a full face mask, those things make a difference in how you adjust the pressure. But if you're trying to do it at home and you can track your pulse oximetry, your SpO2, I would say if you're not desatting less than 95, 96, 90, if you're not dropping down in the low 90s, 90, 91, or God forbid the 80s while you're snoring, I'll say your sleep apnea, then I would say that you're probably fine, because the reason why sleep apnea is bad is because people snore and they stop breathing and our oxygen level drops, and that causes all kinds of problems, hypertension, put strain on your heart, right, while we're sleeping. So if you're not desatting, I'm putting my hand quotes, in other words, your pulse your oxygen level is staying at an appropriate level all night, whether you're snoring at night, you're always above 96, then you know that whatever pressure that is sufficient. To me, that's my opinion, because otherwise, why do you need the CPAP? Because because look, snoring, you can snore and not have sleep apnea, right? I mean, snoring, it's when your oxygen levels become a problem. That's when people are having problems. That's what causes all the issues, is your fucking oxygen levels dropping. So in his question, he's saying, how could he trend this at home to get a better sort of effect? Because at the pressures he's at now, it sounds like he's still with that AHI of 10 to 20. It sounds like his sleep apnea is probably still not well controlled. It's probably moderate, so around there with that level, I believe. So like I said, first of all, if you haven't had a formal sleep study, whether you don't have it, because you can buy, I know people buy these CPAPs right on Amazon by themselves. I've seen, I think even Scott bought one, right? But I think Scott bought one. You can buy them and people can try to titrate it themselves.
Oh, yeah.
So I think you probably just, if you haven't done it, make sure you get a formal sleep study, and that's their job, to tell you what the pressure needs to be. And really, they should be sending someone out to your house to set it up. Anyway, and if that's not the case, then I would say look at your pulse ox, your SpO2. He mentioned this, SpO2 levels. I would say look at that. To me, this is my opinion. Again, if your oxygen level's not dropping, you really don't have a need for CPAP. If you're staying 97% on room air all night long and you snore, you're just a fucking snorer.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, but if you snore and your oxygen levels drop into 88 or the mid 80s or even to 90. So I'm going to put this out there. There's something called an oxygen saturation curve. So in other words, if you're looking at SpO2 levels, right? That's the amount of oxygen, when they check your little pulse ox, that's the amount of oxygen attached to our hemoglobin. If you're looking at SpO2 levels, a normal PO2, which is our oxygen level in our blood, which is when we draw a blood gas, a PO2, that's what we get when we measure it in our blood. A normal is, I'm going to say 80 to 100. Anything PO2 less than 80 in our blood is bad. That means we're not getting enough oxygen. And if you look at pulse oxes compared to PO2, a pulse ox of about 90%, this is that SpO2 levels that he's talking about, correlates with a PO2 of about 60, which is really fucking low. I mean, your oxygen level in your blood is low. So if you're dropping to like 90 or below, that's serious. So that's why I say, look at your pulse ox. If your pulse ox is staying up to 96% and you're on this pressure you're on, even though that AHI may not be perfect, and I don't even know if his system's set up right, you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And I would say you're okay because you're getting the oxygen you need. So I don't know if that's going to make sense to anybody, but I just pulled that out of my head from 15 years ago.
Well, I'd imagine, I don't have any experience with this, and I don't know, I can't add anything to this, but I'd imagine that most people that get CPAP machines are pretty well versed in them. You know?
Exactly.
They have a pretty decent understanding of them because that's their life they're talking about, So I think they can definitely. There's a lot of people with CPAPs, man.
Yeah,
so
hell yeah.
I think they'll definitely understand this much.
And this is again why our show's gonna. Are you looking at the question?
Yeah.
Did you see who's talking to him about it?
I did. I didn't want to mention any names, but
no,
I got super impressed. I was like, whoa.
I just wanted to bring that to your attention.
Yeah.
So it's like his question's probably going to be answered better than we could at some point.
Oh, yeah. If anybody can answer it, that's this guy. He can answer way better than anybody else.
That would be my off the cuff answer. Like again, if your pulse ox, your SpO2 is fine, above 96, I'd say all night long, you're not dropping super low below 90. I think you're in a good spot. I'm going to end it at that.
This listener would benefit from asking Dr. Stevenson as well. I mean, we could say that about every question that we try to answer here, but this one in particular because he has a lot of experience with CPAPs. Lots.
Yeah. Yep.
We've got an NFL question, but I'm going to save it for the last one. Okay. I'm going to skip over that one. We'll come back with that one. How young is too young to let my son start weight training? I like this question. It's a good question.
Yeah.
Kid is 9, by the way.
Yeah, I had to, when he asked that question, I know I
fielded it a little bit.
I had to because, I mean, that's a loaded question. I mean, how young is too young?
Yeah.
I mean, I think 9 is probably too young to lift weights. I guess I'll say that. But I would say it's not too young to be active. Yeah. It's not too young to do body weight stuff. But I would say I really wouldn't push a kid to start lifting weights. I'm talking about lifting weights until they're like 12-ish, 13. I think once you get around that spot, most kids are big. And that's going to be so individual. Like if your kid's a tiny little kid and he's not real strong, and you don't want to be forcing him to do bad stuff. But I would say early teens, you could start off with body weight stuff, light weights. The most important thing, though, I think where kids get fucked up is that they use bad form and no one teaches them appropriately. Yeah, so if you start your kid off, at 13, 12, and he's using good form, you got him doing the proper stuff, the basic movements, not making them do max out reps and you doing body weight, pull-ups, push-ups.
Yep.
I think most kids will be fine. And then you can even start to progress them. But the key, I think, for me has always been you see these young people who never get taught right. And it's not going, and this stunt, I don't believe no bullshit about stunting people's growth. I'm going to put that out there right now. I know there's probably studies, but I don't care. I don't believe that. I think the worst thing about kids training weights is they don't know what the fuck they're doing and no one teaches them properly and they get hurt. That's probably the worst thing. But honestly, I would think below teenagers, you got to be careful with pushing heavy weights. 9, I will say 9 is, I wouldn't have my kid lifting weights at 9. I wouldn't say I wouldn't have him doing push-ups, jumping jacks, maybe air squats, whatever, things that keep you healthy.
Yeah, I mean, those are always good, no matter fucking how old you are,
Yeah, but I mean, I wouldn't be loading up, the bar and, having him bench his body weight yet and do squats.
No. Yeah.
So that's my short answer to that. I mean, I think you just got to be careful with kids, and then like Stevie, he already heard, they did the football thing. They had their test. They did a test at the end where they had to max out on certain lifts. And of course he hurt his back deadlifting because he wasn't doing it right. And all he wanted, he's seen what the other kids were. And I've talked to him about this a million times. I said, look, it doesn't matter what the other kid does. There's people who are half my size who will work the shit out of me on a bench press. I've always been a weak bencher. And I remember being in a gym where I see a guy, 5'2" and 130 pounds repping 315 out. I'm like, how is that fucking possible? I got to try that.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think 9's a little young for weight, but not too young to start getting active. Yeah, kind of thing.
I think. Yeah, that's a tough one, man. Because if you're gonna follow any of the hormonal curve around, your body is not really set up to lift weights when you're 9.
Right.
I mean, your everything is still highly in the developmental phase. You're still a child. That's not to say. I mean, little air squats are great. Push-ups are great. I think you can use weights, but I don't think you can use anything heavy or anything. I can't see a 9-year-old curling fucking 45-pound weights. It's probably
that's what I'm saying.
It's probably not. It's not a good idea. I think you can do things. I think even, man, the human organism is kind of an amazing thing, because if you push it like a 9-year-old with heavy, well, let's just say that you do that, okay. The organism will speed up its developmental phase. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so hormones will start to cascade a lot quicker than they normally would. You know what I mean? So you might start developing developmental problems. It's not a good thing to age a child prematurely.
Right. So oh, go ahead.
I'm just throwing it out there.
I agree.
That sort of thing can definitely happen. I've seen it with Romanian children.
Well, they probably have them on D-ball too at 9, but that's a whole nother ballgame.
Probably. but the thing is, with the human organism and a child, a lot of things can happen developmentally. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So when the natural testosterone or the natural estrogen, whatever it is, starts to crescent, that's the best time. So right around 12, 13, that's 14. Probably the best. And when I say lift weights, I'm like the doc. I'm not talking about max outs. I'm not talking about squatting your own body weight. I'm talking about proper good form and
slow progression.
I'm talking about reps in the 20 to 25 range. Okay, if you can keep it into there with good form and consistency, I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all. I think you should do that at the age of 11, 12, 13 if you want. That's fine too. That's not pushing anything into you're not spurring on anything growth past your physical potential at that age. You know what I mean?
And you don't want to, and you're not going to give them early injuries that are going to eventually, as they get to my age, going to catch up to them. Anyway, one thing I will add about his 9-year-old, now a different thing might be, I don't know what his kid does, but if you're talking about if we look at sports specific training, if your kid's a football player at 9, or your kid's a baseball player at 9, or a hockey, I don't have a problem with them going to a trainer who's there just for technique and footwork type stuff.
Sure.
To get their feet quicker, get them running faster, teaching them how to throw a baseball better, a football better, maybe even blocking. So if your kid's a 9-year-old offensive lineman and you want him to learn how to block, I don't have a problem with sending him to a trainer who's there for those kind of things. Sports specific training, maybe they have them do some jumping jacks, some running, some box jumps. They'll probably have them doing ladders, things like that, shuffles, all those things that just make you healthy and as an athlete, get your skills up. I mean, that's okay. But as far as weightlifting, I agree with you. I mean, 9 years old, I wouldn't do it. Like I wouldn't pound the 90 or 9, So anyway, that's my thoughts on that.
Yeah. It's a good question because I think it's highly misunderstood. And,
Sure.
and I think that the growth stunt, like the stunting your growth type thing, I think it's potentially possible, but it takes a lot of fucking weight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it takes or it takes like if this child adapts, let's say he's 9 years old, let's just for the sake of just posturing, if the child was 9 years old and he started fucking training hard, like real hard, that child would develop in such a way that the child as an organism would adapt to the scenario very quickly. So you would force those hormones to kind of start increasing. The testosterone, the estrogen, all those things would start increasing naturally because the child's environment has been changed so radically. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
when that happens, estrogen starts to peak. That's what can actually close the growth plate. You know what I mean? So stunting your growth is that's kind of a iffy thing because the scenario has to be just right,
Right. Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah. Quick question here, Doc. At what point of using HGH is it recommended to supplement with T4?
I was going to let you handle that one.
I'm going to go ahead.
At least to start off.
Look, you don't know. You're not going to know that ever until you get your blood work done.
Yeah, exactly.
And you need to do that early on because by the time that T4 is depleted, it's already too late. You're going to need replacement,
Right. So that would be my if your doctor was prescribing this, I would say you have to get blood work before, or you won't know. I mean, you won't know till it's too late. Yeah. And then when it's getting low, that's when I would think your doctor would prescribe that for you.
Yeah. I will say though, and this is, off the beaten path thinking, this is not clinical diagnosis type stuff. But if you supplement with HGH and you're taking a solid dose of that, you will start to deplete those the T4 before the T3.
No doubt.
T4,
yeah, actually, your T3 is going to go up.
Yeah. As a result, your T3 will go up. Your T4 will start going diminishing.
Yep.
And it doesn't always happen. It does happen, but it doesn't always happen to everybody. That being said, it never actually hurt anyone to take an extra little bit of T4, like a little bump of T4 daily. It never really actually hurt anybody. Because let me tell you, T4, if you ingest T4 and it doesn't get converted into T3, it just stays fucking T4. You know what I mean? It's an inactive hormone.
Yep.
You're going to use it based on need. Okay. Once it turns over into T3, it's active. It's your body's deodorinase enzymes. So supplement with those enzymes. Make sure you're getting enough iodine, And if you want to throw in a small little bit of T4 daily, like I'm talking 10 to 20 micrograms, that's probably not ever going to hurt you. But it may also keep you healthy if you're not intending to ever do any blood work.
Right.
Which we don't recommend,
Right. That was why I let you handle that. But my answer was going to be, well, if you're low, you need to get blood work before you do anything, then your doctor can prescribe that for you.
Yeah.
But you would want to go, if your doctor were prescribing you HGH that lowered your thyroid, you would want to supplement with T4 first because that's the one that's going to go down because it's creating and it's revving up your system to make more T4 turn to T3. Mm-hmm. So your T3 is going to look high. Your T4 is going to start to look low. You just need to give your body enough foundation to keep making that conversions, but so you don't end up hypo.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway.
Yeah,
all right.
That's a major gripe I have with blood work. That some doctors that they only order like a TSH. Like, what the fuck is that going to tell you exactly?
Hey, well, most of it. I'll tell you what. Oh shoot, I'm on the wrong side. I moved away from my mic for a second. I'll tell you why, and it's all because insurance. We try to, in general. I think most doctors go that route because whether it's, I'm not saying this is correct. I don't want everybody to email me and tell me I'm wrong, but we would say in general, if your TSH is normal, your pituitary is probably functioning fine. That doesn't mean that's perfect. So I agree with you. I like a whole panel. Mm-hmm. So usually what gets ordered is what's called, it'll say something like, and this is all for believe it or not. Okay, so we can almost reasonably say if your TSH is normal, you probably don't have hyper or hypothyroidism. We think that it's a screening test. It may not be true. If a patient's still having thyroid problem symptoms, then you need to delve deeper. But the reason is it's cost, right? Mm-hmm. So there's a test that I bet most doctors order, and if you looked at it, it'll say TSH with reflex.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So to cut down on the cost, that's telling the lab, if I order this TSH and it's normal, stop. If it's not normal, you reflex it to the rest of the test.
There you go. Nice.
That's what I've always ordered. And mostly it'll be TSH with reflex T4. Now, if anything of those two comes back abnormal, then I would go ahead and order the full panel. And I did that basically for cost. And I'll tell you why else I did that. And this is terrible, but this is how you have to be careful in medicine sometimes. When you start digging fucking holes, you're going to find shit you don't like on everybody. Mm-hmm. And it's going to end up a wild goose chase 99% of the time.
Shit.
I hate to say that, but that is facts. If I took everyone who's listening right now and got a CAT scan of their abdomen, I probably would find that someone has a kidney stone they don't know about. Someone has a herniated disc. Mm-hmm. Someone had diverticulosis. Somebody has a hemorrhoid. Mm-hmm. Someone has, and they're asymptomatic and they're a perfectly healthy 40-year-old male. What are we going to do about all that stuff we just found? Are we going to go force the kidney stone out? Are we going to get those diverticuli taken care of? Are we going to fix that herniated disc that doesn't bother him? So that's why in healthcare, you really have to be choosy with your testing. And for cost. So that's probably, I just went on a fucking tangent. I'm sorry.
No, but you're right. You're
but I'm giving you real, this is real medicine. This isn't me calling myself. This is what I go through. This is what I've been through in my life. This is what I do every day.
We got to hear this stuff. Listeners need to hear this stuff anyways, man.
Because everyone thinks, well, my doctor didn't order that test on me that I really need it.
Right.
Well, if you don't have any symptoms and you just think you want an MRI, you may not want to see what that fucking MRI shows.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it could lead you down a rabbit hole into medical oblivion where you're getting all kinds of bullshit tests, and guess what's going to happen at the end? You're going to end up with tons of bills. You're going to end up seeing tons of specialists, and everyone's going to be sitting there with their hands up, and you're still not going to have an answer. So true. You have to be careful. Same with blood work. Okay, I know we do hormone panels, but I see people doing all these crazy stuff, every hormone you can think of, and they're all perfect, and you get one back. Let's say you get your you did your DHEA, you did your test, you did your free test, you did your SHBG, you did your estradiol, you did all three estrogens, you did all the hormones you can think of. You did your LH, your FSH, you did them all. And you get that whole cascade back, and one of them is just a little abnormal. Mm-hmm. What the fuck do you do about that? Mm-hmm. Do you go starting an do you go starting your prolactin's a bit off? Do you take Carbolane? Do you start something? Now you got yourself in a hole. So
yeah. And that stuff, you know what? Like we always say, it's a snapshot in time. That's
blood work. It's a 1 day thing.
Yeah. And sometimes it's a fucking hourly thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So when you're at your doctor's office and you're wondering why they didn't order 50,000 tests on you, it may be because those tests might reveal some things that are never going to hurt you, but will hurt you because you're going to end up in a fucking, like I said, a wild goose chase. Trust me, I've been on wild goose chases with patients many times in my life because I ordered a test, and after I got the results back so I order a test looking for, okay, here, I'm going to give an example. I order a CAT scan of the abdomen looking for reason for abdominal pain. This patient's freaking out. They've been having this pain for 6 months. It won't go away, and I can't figure it out. I do a CAT scan, and it's perfectly normal, except they have one gallstone. Mm-hmm. Now I have to tell them they have a gallstone. And you know how hard it is to tell someone they have something like that, but we're not going to do anything about it because that's not your problem, and it's never going to be your problem. Because if you scanned most of us with an ultrasound of our gallbladder, right, I bet most of us have some sludge or gallstones. Yep. Especially if you're on hormones, because some of them can cause biliary trouble, right?
Sure. So, and the older you are, the more propensity you're going to have.
Exactly. So that's probably when we see your doctors, the people who are listening, orders just a TSH. And it comes back normal and he doesn't do anything else. That's probably the reason. It's your right to say you're not satisfied with that, but just be prepared to end up with a thyroid biopsy that you didn't need. You know what I'm saying?
Dang, he was doing you a favor with that TSH. Just take it and shut the fuck up, right?
Exactly. You're not gaining weight, your hair's not falling out, or on the other spectrum, you're not having palpitations, and you're not flushed, and you're not having symptoms of high thyroid, but your doctor's doing your yearly blood work just for your health, your cholesterol, your boom, boom. And he does that TSH with reflex, and it comes back TSH is normal, but you're not convinced. Just be prepared for that thyroid biopsy that's coming when they get when your T3 or your reverse T3 is just a little bit out of whack. Then you're going to end up with a scan for nodules. And so anyway, that's kind of the thought process when doctors order tests, at least for me. Gotcha. Have to be careful we don't open a fucking rabbit hole. Now, sometimes, believe it or not, I've ordered tests where I'm like, for a totally different reason. And thankfully, I've found some things early that could have killed someone. So it's a tough thing for test. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know why I got off on that tangent, but because I think I hear that a lot. I went to my doctor. I went to my doctor and they didn't order this, and I'm having this knee pain, and he never ordered an MRI for my back or whatever the fuck. I don't know. Like, and that's why going to things like, having a cold and going to the emergency room is like one of those things you have to be careful of, because the ER doctor has everything at his disposal. And there are some ER doctors who will check everything off on every patient because they don't want to miss something. So you go in for a cough with a little bit of phlegm and a fever, and you probably just have a cold, and you
come out with pancreatic cancer.
Exactly.
Dang, all I had was a runny nose. I should have stayed home. This sucks.
Come out with pancreatic cancer. That would be pretty fucked up.
That would be an extreme one.
Yeah. You find out you have fatty liver, and you have one kidney stone, and now all that shit's going to bother you in your head for 9 months while you run around all the people to check everything, and they tell you, it's going to be fine in the end, and now you're going to worry about it the rest of your life. I think that's one thing with testing we have to be careful of, But anyway, back to the thyroid. Yeah. How the fuck did we see? This is
HGH-T4.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
So I just got off on tangent. It's everything Vijay said, probably listen to. So, and all that other stuff is just for you people who wonder why your doctor only ordered a TSH.
Boom. All right, Doc. Let's do an NFL question and then call it a day. All right. If Carson Wentz went down with a season-ending injury and Matthew Stafford was available, would you take Stafford over Nate Studfield and Josh McCown? Also, what is the hard? Okay, so I'll answer the next one. It's you answer that first one first.
Okay, if we're talking about taking him over those two, if he was available and I didn't have to give up like a fucking first round or second round or third round draft pick for him, you're fucking right. I'd take Matthew Stafford.
Hell yeah! You take Stafford every time.
About a seasoned, basically a stud quarterback who's always been on a mediocre team. Yeah. He's no offense, Beach.
Yeah,
but
true.
He's stuck in Detroit. I mean, he's a talented guy who is way better than the other two we got. Now, I will say this. I mean, of course, when Nick Foles left the Eagles, I was really sad because I've always been a Foles guy. I've been saying that since we started this show. When Foles was on the Eagles the first time, I was depressed when fucking stupid Nick when Chip Kelly traded the whole team, Deshaun Jackson, Shady, just got rid of every fucking body and destroyed the Eagles there for a few years. And we got him back. Of course, he wins us a Super Bowl. So now he's a fucking, the GOAT in Philly. But, so I was a little concerned with I'm not sold on Sudfeld. And honestly, when they picked up Josh McCown, I was a little happier. That dude has been around a long time. He's won a lot of games. He's just never been a guy who's been able to maintain sort of a longevity in a winning column. Yeah. But
he's not a franchise guy, but he knows how to win.
He knows how to win. If you get him in there, you need him for 3 or 4 games. You might go 2-2, with him.
Sure.
The other guy, I don't know. You might go 0-4 or whatever. But if we had Nick Foles, we'd probably go 4-0. But so yeah, I mean that would be a no-brainer. I would fucking take Stafford. I would take Stafford in a heartbeat. If you'd asked me 3 years ago, I mean, if Stafford was available, I would love him to be an Eagle. But now, I mean, I'm a Carson guy. But he's a great quarterback. He's been one of the best for a long time. I just think I don't know how it could be organization problems. I don't watch the Lions a lot, right? But I know enough that he's a great quarterback, and it doesn't help that abruptly his best player retires at 30 or whatever.
God damn it. Calvin Johnson.
What other franchise has had their two generational players, Barry Sanders and Calvin Johnson, just quit in the perfectly healthy and young?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And so,
I mean, health wise speaking, it's probably very smart. I mean, Barry Sanders is still. I mean, he's Parkinson's free. He's doing good.
What getting was good, and that's what I think Calvin Johnson did the same thing. He had his money. He's probably never going to have to work again. He's probably
his hips is working still good. He can still get a boner. He's good.
CTE, and So I would take Stafford in a heartbeat.
Fuck yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't give up no fucking draft picks for him. It'd have to be a fucking low price free agent signing.
Well, what do you who do the Eagles play this weekend?
Oh, the Vikings, great game at 1. I can't wait.
That is a good game. I'll probably be watching that because Detroit don't play till tomorrow night.
And they're playing in Minnesota, so it's going to be a good game. It's a huge game for both teams. Really.
It is. They both need to win. Yeah, they do.
And really for the Eagles because. How
Vikings are tough this year, man. The Eagles are. I think the Eagles might be in trouble this time.
Well, I'm worried. That's what I'm saying. You know how big of the Eagles fan I am, but I'm a realist Eagles fan. I am skeptical still about our fucking defense. They drive me crazy. They let people put up 400 or 500 yards on them, but then they stop them inside the red zone. So I don't know what to think.
I think your special teams is a little bit iffy too.
Yeah. So I mean, it's going to be a good game. I mean, if the defense can keep this scoring down, and Carson can come out and score some points in the first half. The Eagles suck in the beginning of all these games, except for last week. They scored 10 in the first quarter, I think it was. That's off the top of my head. Nobody please check the facts on that. I'm not fucking, I'm not an NBC reporter. But anyway, they'll be okay. Yeah. So that's my take Matthew Stafford answer. I would do it in a heartbeat.
So I got a guitar question here. This is pretty cool. I'll keep it real, because there's not a lot of guitar listeners out there. Everyone watches the NFL, you know what I mean? So everyone can relate, but not a lot of guitar players out there, I'm thinking, that are also bodybuilders. Who knows? But also, he says, what is the hardest guitar riff to play ever? Like, which one do you fuck up every time and could never get right no matter how many times you tried? Well, I got to tell you, man, I'm pretty good. You know what I'm saying?
I love it. There's not many. I'm a fucking bad motherfucker. In fact, did you see me play in California?
I played the whiskey, man. You know what I'm saying? So
with yellow fucking tights.
Hell yeah. No, I'll be serious. The hardest song I ever had to play and still cannot nail it is Mr. Sandman by Mr. Chet Atkins.
Oh, yeah.
You weren't going to expect that. You were going to think it was going to be some Metallica shit or something. It's not.
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
It's not. Chet Atkins, the fucking baddest motherfucker who ever played guitar. So that is, any Chet Atkins song is the hardest guitar riff ever to play. All right? So there you go. All right, Doc, that's it. That's it. We're good.
You are pretty good.
We got it. We got a show in the can. How about that?
God, we're going to be such a disappointment, bro.
I know. It's okay, though. You know what? Our expectations have never been real high anyways.
No.
And people have been let down constantly all the time. So we don't have, the bar is set real low. I'm good. I'm good with this. I feel good.
All those comments you made are which is make me surprised that we've actually had people request to hear us again, which is why we're back.
I call them the hardcores. This is for you.
I try to fade away quietly into oblivion.
I'm trying to do the same. It's hard to do with Bodybuilding Nerds Radio.
You even moved to a different country to get away from me.
Yeah, there you go.
It's like Advice's Radio Network is like The Firm. Yeah. Remember the movie The Firm?
Hell yeah.
Tom Cruise. Every time I try to get out, they pull me back in.
Yeah.
That's Advice's. It's good to be back, though.
Yeah. This is good, man. This is good therapy for both of us, I think, too.
Yeah. It gets, honestly, Vij, I missed it, and I will say this: every time we've ever did a show, I went about my day, and I'm just being honest as a friend and all. Every time I hear your voice, we do the show together. When I get on Bodybuilding Nerds, which I got to come on again because I missed that too.
You're the third wheel. We're still waiting.
I know. I'm the third lazy motherfucker. That's the problem. But now I got my shit all set back up.
There you go.
I think digging everything out was kind of holding me back too. Besides all my other depressive issues that I was having.
Sure. Yeah, man. You've had a tough run. That's for goddamn sure.
Yeah.
You know?
And we're back. And you know what? I'll be honest. This is funny. And I wonder if the other guys on the other podcasts, and I bet Skip I bet Skip and S2H, and I'd like to hear what they have to say about this. I always feel like after we record a show, it's almost like going to church. I feel good about myself.
You feel good the rest of the day.
Yeah, like I'm energized right now. I'm going to go get a shower. I'm going to eat some food, hit the damn gym.
See, I feel good too. That's the therapy, man. We both feel good. Now we're like, honestly, all right. And you know what? So, it's still fucking 8 a.m. So we're like the whole day we can feel good now. You know?
Yeah, no, it seriously does that. So it's good to be back. We'll keep it rolling this time as long as they give us questions.
Yeah. If they give us a reason to keep trying to come back, then I guess we got to know our role.
Don't make them too difficult.
No.
Actually, you know what? And I'll save this for our next show, just so I know I have to do it. I have a case report about someone that I
really
a case report. How am I going to put this so I don't have to that I came across.
Okay.
I didn't have an involvement with it. Wink, wink.
Uh-huh.
And I had some interesting things I helped a guy. Hypothetically helped someone out with some blood work, but we'll save that. I meant to tell you that earlier, but I'll save that for next time. It's a good one.
All right, good deal. Good. So we got something to talk about next time. That sounds
right.
Good.
Yeah.
All right, man. That note, the doctors are out.
Later, dudes.